Come on now, don't get it. The first one to hit this shot right here. Come on, get out of here. That's it. That's it. Wrap that up. That's it.
I can't even think of it.
That's right, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Yo, who that? Who that? H&I-C. Hey, yo.
What's up, y'all? I just want to welcome y'all to Safe Space. Today we're at George Washington University. We're going to sit down with their all-time leading scorer, Chris Monroe, who has made a career of working hard and turning nothing into something. He's one of the most intelligent, well-spoken people I've ever met in my life, and also someone that I've always looked to for guidance when it comes to making sound business decisions or sound financial decisions. So hope you guys enjoy, and welcome to Safe Space.
Me and Shante Rogers went in, Baltimore native.
So Chris, being like one of the greatest players in George Washington University history, being the all-time leading scorer, what were some of the things that led you to come to GW, and also what propelled you to become arguably the greatest player in the history of the program?
Well, I think one of the main things that brought me to GW was the fact that I could stay home and play local. You know, one of the a good friend of mine ended up getting paralyzed, I want to say my sophomore year. And, you know, AAU buddy, we came up in the circuit together. And, you know, he lived through me as far as when it came to ball. So one of those things is wanted to be here so he could see every one of my games. So he came to every single one of my games. We used to wheel him in every single game so he sit there and had that baseline. Two, you know, my family, say my boys, the neighborhood. My grandmother was here. My father doesn't like to fly. So that was one of the main reasons that I wanted him. And they supported me all through my career. My mom traveled everywhere with the AAU, so you know, I'm a family guy. Stay close. It was either going to be Maryland, Georgetown, or GW for me in this area.
Seemed like it worked out. So, as you say, you wanted to stay local. Can you talk a little bit about your high school and AAU background, and where you came up, and what kind of molded you into becoming the person you are?
So I started off, I was playing with Silver Spring Blue Devils. Rob Jackson was the one who picked me up when we were about 9 or 10. That's where I met Roger Mason. That's where I met a couple of other guys that I played with. From there, we went on to win the 11-year-old national championship, Cocoa Beach, Florida. Then we went on to win it again when we were 14. Then, you know, at that point in time, high schools were like, look, we need you for summer league. So that stopped. So we ended up, that's from there, that's where I went to, I started off my freshman year at Springbrook. I transferred out of Springbrook, went to Good Counsel my 10th grade year. And then I kind of pulled a little LeBron thing. I was like, well, me and my guys, you know, AAU, we always wanted to play together. So it was one of those things where, why not? Let's try to win the city title. Let's try to be, you know, carry over what we did from AAU to the high school scene. So that's when I recruited Roger to come to Good Counsel. Earl Hunt was already there. AJ Harris came as my point guard. And so, you know, from that whole background, it was just like we were the original Blue Devils. So let's take it there. So that progressed on to us being ranked in the top 5 by our senior year in high school, and you know, selling out the Smith Center twice when we played DeMatha with Keith and Joe and all that.
Okay. So you could play against those great DeMatha teams, but if I recall correctly, weren't you guys ranked above them in the US Today polls?
That's right. We were ranked as high as I want to say number 5, no, number 3 or number 5. And we ended up losing that because we lost to Kenny Satterfield and him at Slam Dunk to the Beach and Andre Barrett. And Roger ended up broke his thumb that game. And so we pushed through. We beat Newport with Rodney White and all those guys, James White, T.J. Thompson. And, you know, we took that loss. And then from there, Gonzaga ended up, you know, beating us, which they beat DeMatha too. That zone killed everybody in high school. And so, you know, they went, and I'm happy to say Gonzaga went on to win a, you know, well, actually they lost to Dunbar. They lost to Brian Chase and them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so hey, tough.
So talking about all those great players you played against and played with, do you think that basketball or grassroots basketball in this day and age is as competitive or more competitive than when you came up? Because like you said, you just ran off 3 or 4 McDonald's All-Americans, 4 or 5 guys that are legendary in this area who are probably the best to do it. So do you think that your era it could compete with this era or vice versa?
Oh, yeah, I think we would crush this area. I think it's the kids now, they have a lot of talent, they're athletic, but I think understanding the game, you know, you can drill. You got a lot of players out here that drilling at an early age, but they're not understanding the mental side of the game. So when they get into certain systems, they're not able to perform as they do in AAU versus when they get into a high school or college system. So they have a lot of potential, but it doesn't really translate to the game. But I mean, there's a lot. The guys I would say are better skill sets now. But as far as understanding the game and scoring, a guy with less talent, if he understands the game the right way and can position himself, just like Gonzaga. Gonzaga didn't have the same talent as, say, us or the math of that year, but they were able to run the table with us because they had those guys that had a better understanding, I would say, of their system and to help them win. Gotcha. I would say some of my best games were not even in this arena, to be honest with you. You know, when I broke the all-time leading score record, I was in UMass. When I scored my career high that lasted throughout my basketball career here at GW, I scored, 35 at LaSalle my freshman year. You know, here I just had great memories because of all the people that was here, from, you know, my family, my friends, and you know, the guys that I had with me here to practice. The memories here is what I remember most. And then, you know, the games where we beat Maryland at the BB&T. It wasn't here; it was right around the corner. But you know, those memories that stick with me here. But I just remember, I could tell you, like over there in that corner before the renovation happened, because the renovation happened in 2010 here in the Smith Center. But in that corner down there, that's where my family was sitting. I could see my father sitting there, my mother, my grandmother, you know, the boys from the neighborhood, Ronnie there. So, and actually, currently the team sit on this side of the aisle. When I played, they sat on the other side. So I was right there. So when I was frustrated, I can always hear him in the back of my ear, like, "Hey, Chris, you know what I'm saying, focus, you know what I'm saying, get your mind right, get out your head, go out there and play," you know what I'm saying? So that was one of the best things, because they were right on top of me, so I can always have them coaching me up.
So one thing I picked up from you when I was a player was how hard you worked and how deliberate you were in every little aspect of the game of basketball. Like, you were very technical in the way you shot the ball, how your shot preparation, something that took with me going forward until I ended to stop playing. So I just want to know, was your father or somebody else a big influence on you to get, like you said, to keep you motivated, keep your head together? Or who instilled that type of work ethic, that I want to say that crazy maniac type of work ethic that you had that helped you become who you are?
I would say one of the biggest things that probably made me who I was being an underdog. You know what I mean? So if you look at it, playing in, you know, if you think back to Blue Devils, you know, after we were 11 years old, it wasn't, you know, I wasn't getting the hype, and I was getting ranked as a kid, but it wasn't like how some of the other people that I thought I was better than. So I kind of took that in and was trying to study other people's games to figure out how and why are they saying that this person's better than me. If you take, for example, like my senior year at Good Counsel, I averaged 23 and 10. I wasn't playing a guard position. I was playing a 4 position at this height I am now, right? And, you know, Roger was 6'5". He ended up going to UVA. So then you kind of internalize that and you say, well, I mean, in which all these schools came late. So Maryland came late. Some of the big schools came late. But in my mind, when that first team came, Tom Penders came in and they saw me at the Charlie Weber. I got MVP of that. And then if I run down my resume, I carry that chip on my shoulder, because I was like, everybody's getting, just because you're 6'5" or 6'6", and you know, you're getting more love than me, but it's about production on the floor, because I believe that a player is a player. You know, a lot of people like to put labels on guys. You're a point guard, you're a shooting guard. Nah, you're a player, you know what I'm saying? And that's where you get the Draymond Greens from, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and guys that can just do it all. So I was one of those guys. You put me out there, I can hit the jump shot, I can get you rebounds, I'm gonna make my free throw, I can score if you need me to, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do the hustle plays. So what propelled me was that underdog status. Like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna find out what made him a great shooter, or I'm gonna find out what you know, why he's in such great shape. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be able to outlast my time. If I wasn't as tall, if I wasn't as skilled as this one person, if I could stay on the court longer than him, or if I could beat him to the right position, now you're talking about, you know, putting me in a better position to win. So I was trying to find the little nuances to put me in a better position to win. So I went on, you know, and after that, you know, I went to the Capital Classic, and I got MVP of the Capital Classic, and people were like, oh, wow, you know, like he did it. And people that knew me was like, that's just what Chris do. You put Chris in anywhere with Jason Williams, Jason Gardner, Nick Collison, Drew Gooden, Samuel Delaware, all these pros. And even on my team, Rodney Wright, Lottery, Roger Mason, you know what I'm saying? Guys that are playing in the league, these guys. But I stood out because I knew how to get and produce with what I had. Yeah. You remember I was in high school, I was a 4. By the time I got to college, I transitioned to a 3. So I had to learn what the 3s were doing. You know what I'm saying? From then, by the time I graduated, I was a 2 guard. The pros, the NBA, they say he's a tweener. Now they love tweeners, but back then I was a tweener. So then, so I couldn't be a point. I couldn't be the Steve Blake. My first NBA workout, it was Kurt Heinrich, Steve Blake, and Luke Rittenauer, pure point guards. Then my second day workout was with Dwayne Wade. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was they couldn't find a position for me, so which ended up pushing me out. But I always kept that chip on my shoulder, like, man, I can still put up buckets on any level you put me on. College, I put up buckets. People said, Chris wasn't gonna do that here. Well, Chris do that in the A-10, but then if you look at my averages when I played top 25 teams from UConn to Tennessee to Texas, my average is probably around 25. And they should have beat us, but we stayed in the game. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of things that I wore on my shoulder, and I just found ways to win.
And I just want the people to know, he scored all these points by never shooting a three-pointer because his foot was always on the line. Every time.
They counted. Actually.
I've never seen Chris Monroe ever shoot a three-pointer. Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
I guess we gotta go to record books for that one because I got some deep balls in here.
In the news recently, definitely talking about how, well, they haven't spoken, but NCAA has been in the news pretty much regarding how players should get paid or they want to get paid. There's been a lot of pushback on how this should happen or why it shouldn't happen. What is your take on all that, and what do you foresee the future holding for the student athlete who sees himself as not just an athlete, but as a business partner?
Well, I mean, one thing everybody has to do is one, take into account the amount of money NCAA is making. 2, you gotta take into account of where these kids are coming from. The majority of these kids coming from their backgrounds, whether it's football, basketball, whatever sport it is. Some parents are in better situations, some are not. So some of these kids need Pell Grants, they need these extra, even though their college is being paid for, they still don't have living expenses, you know what I'm saying? And so, Sebastian Talapier, I think, not Talapier, but the other kid from UConn, he basically, he said I was eating, Napier, I'm sorry. He was basically saying, I was eating ramen noodles, you know what I'm saying? And then, but here's the problem, this kid could lose his scholarship if he doesn't perform on a court. But he's eating ramen noodles.
But you want him to sell tickets for
you want him to sell it. So it's a tenfold. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole thing that goes into it. So I think the kids should get some form of compensation. Now people say scholarships they're a form of compensation, but some of these kids don't. There's nothing that the school actually offers but the sports program that they feel as if that they want to, that's when I want to play ball. So why am I going to school for anything else just to go to school because it's putting a platform out there. So I want to ask a question and I switched around to people. I said, if you were in the IT section and you came up with this bomb app like some of these like Facebook or something like that, and somebody said, I'll give you, for the next 4 years, 4.5 or whatever the rookie minimum is in the NBA, guaranteed. Parents have nothing. Do you still go get that piece of paper, or do you say, hey, if I don't take this money, I sprain my ankle, I break my knee, the school makes their money off me, now I'm left with nothing. Even if I graduate, I still got to come back and pay for my school, pay for my to graduate, right. Which is, say for example, that's maybe 30 grand in some institutions. You know what I'm saying? For a semester. Right. So you look at that and you say, how are these kids gonna pay for that? Like some schools are, some don't. It's up in the air. So I think there should be some. I don't know if it's cash. I don't know what it is, but I think it's some form of compensation. That needs to be done for these kids. I mean, it's a touchy subject, and I probably need to study up more. But from my view on it, it's like these kids don't have money. You're making money off of them. They don't have employee rights. You know what I mean? But you're asking them to do employee things. Employee law, do they have control of their time? No. Do they have to be somewhere on time? Yes. Do they have to be mandatory somewhere on time?
That's true.
And yes. So in essence, are they really a student athlete or are they an employee?
It's a fine line.
It's a fine line, and there's a lot of technicalities, and it's an opinion. I mean, definitely to be more opinionated, I probably have to do a lot more reading. But I really think that there's something that needs to be done, because that's where we are right now. The subject's up in the air, and now what do you do? But like I said, I go back to, if you were IT and Apple came to you and said, hey, we're going to give you this league minimum, and you're a sophomore freshman. What is it at one and done? What does that have to do with you're in your dream job?
Yeah, right.
And
True.
You're in your dream job at that point in time. That's what you went to STEM classes. So for these kids that are going to STEM, they're going to STEM classes through 11, 12, 13. One comes with a brilliant idea. Google comes to them and says, hey, I'll give you league minimum for the next 4 years to develop yourself to what we think you can be. The kid's going to look at his mom and dad, or you talk to this institution because you're helping out this institution in some way and say, well, they're offering me $4 million. Do I stay? Do I leave?
Yeah.
And I can get a degree, and I can come back and get a degree. It's so many things. There's so many different ways in there.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you again for taking your time and speaking with us. And like you've been a great influence on my life. And I just wanted to have your words help reach the next generation. Hope we can reach somebody else the same way you've helped reach me and other people in my situation. So I'm Brian Inge, and this is Safe Space with Chris Monroe. Pleasure.
That's right, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Yo, who that? Who that? H&I-C. Hey, yo.
You ain't get that, huh?
You get your shot. You get it. Let's get out of here.
Was it right here?
Hey, and by the way, if you look at the floor, this is the Washington Monument, so I made that from the Washington Monument. You want to see that? Look at this long thing right here. Boom. Washington Monument from the W. I'm a winner. Come on, man. How many steps do you keep etching in? Keep etching. That's what you used to do. No. I shot from right here.
But that's how you used to do when we worked out.
Right there. Shot where I shot from. Don't blame it on your shirt.
You know what, man? My arm hurt.
You done button something right now?
My shoulder. I don't even. My shoulder hurt, yo.
This is bloopers. You don't want to shoot? You called me out. The first thing you do, you walk in.
It's going on there.
I beat Chris. Oh, okay.
I did. I got people right there.
No, you did.
I definitely did.
No, you didn't.
I definitely
No, you
did.
didn't.
See.
How old was that undershirt?
That's why I didn't want to take it off. I don't care though.
Look, as long as we got it on camera, I'm good. Make sure that ends up in the video too. I need
Oh, it will.
Yeah.
One leg. I got it.
No. Don't do that tricky. Don't do that tricky. Don't do that tricky like you ain't shoot on purpose. I came in and
You got 2 shots. I
give you 2 shots. I give you 2 shots. I give you 2 shots from the same spot. I give you 2 shots from the same spot.
One more shot. Chris Monroe step in.
Go ahead.
That's not you. That's not you.
You see it went in though, right? Must be doing something right.
It's a girl ball too.
Huh? It's not a girl ball. It's not a girl ball. You see that name on that ball too.
Hey, don't put that
Now, keep that on there. That's fine. That's fine. You get one more chance. One more. And then we wrap it up. 2 shots. He hit it. He got to put it in. I mean, he's witnessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Come on, Inge.
2. Stepped in the gym. Cold turkey.
For Jeff Dowden. Come on.
cash.
Oh! Yes, sir. We out of here. We out of here. Let me see that moment. Let me see that. All you gotta do is put this on there. Look. Just that film. Monroe. This is my ball right here. Boom. Knocked it out. See that? Trash. Huh?
Trash.